6, back with another breakdown of UFC 315, Shevchenko versus Fierro, Jack Della Maddalena's title fight. No, I won't acknowledge whatever his name is, because he's a loser, ugly piece of shit bitch. Chev, Manon, Jack Della, UFC 315 in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We back with another breakdown of a pay-per-view that is okay. It's far from amazing, but okay. I think it has got a lot of hate for no reason. I think it's a very okay card. Yes, the main event is pretty bad and more likely will be a bad fight. The co-main is decent. The rest of the main card is decent. Main card opener kind of sucks. Prelims have ups and downs. It's a Canada card, you know. Unlike most Canada pay-per-views, at least I can't say this one's awful, because that's what most of them are. Remember Strickland and Drakus last year? That was fucking dreadful. Nunez and Irene Aldana 2 years ago. This is easily the best pay-per-view Canada has gotten in a long time. Maybe best card in general, because they usually get stinkers. So I'm happy they're getting a halfway decent card. Yes, it could be better, but what can you do? Still got 12 fights, still got 2 title fights, still got some really good fights under them. It should be a fun card. I would be shocked if this card's awful. I don't think it's going to be great. I don't think it's going to be great. I don't think it's going to be no card of the year. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 card. But I see this being like a solid 6.5 out of 10 card. Maybe at worst a 5 out of 10. I just struggle to see this being a bad card. I think it's getting a lot of hate for very few reasons. Again, yes, the main event's pathetic. And the co-main, it's not going to be amazing. The main and co are more than likely going 15 minutes or 25 minutes. But yeah, that's kind of how title fights are. Not many good champions or title fights in 2025. So the next pay-per-view 316 ain't any better with Marab and Kayla Harrison. So get ready for that. But yeah, it should be a decent pay-per-view. Again, I think it has got a lot of hate for no reason, and when that's coming from me, that says a lot, because I'm someone who definitely shits on cards very easily, and trust me, the next 2 cards we're going to be breaking down after this are 2 Apex cards that are dog shit, and I will not be nice about them. But I think this card is fine. Again, I see very few issues with it. So it did take a hit earlier in the week, or even last week. I'll talk about that when I talk about that. But outside of that, we still got 12 fights. We still got a full main card. We got some prelims, some early prelims, and of what should be a fun night in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So with that being said, I can't think of anything more to say in this intro, because I think I'd just be rambling on at this point. I think I said everything I wanted to say. I think this card's getting disrespected a lot for no reason. Maybe if it does suck, then it does suck, but on paper, I think it's getting a lot of hate too early. So if it sucks, then yeah, shit on it. But right now, give it a chance, is what I would say. Give it a chance. But outside of that, I don't really got much more to say about the card before we get into the breakdown. I think it's okay. I think it should be fine, and I'm pretty excited for it. So, not really much more I can think to say in that regard. Am I missing anything? No, not really. So, we're ready to break down a pay-per-view in Montreal, Quebec, in the Century Bell, one of the few arenas actually in the UFC game still, which you know, and that says a lot. Let's do it. UFC 315 breakdown. Before I do, final thing as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2025. So we've been stuck at 72 for a while. If we get some, it'd be cool. If we don't, shit happens. I hope you enjoyed the video nonetheless. If you're subscribed or not, I hope you enjoy it. And that's what I do it for your enjoyment. I love doing these, and I love the UFC, even though they don't love us one fucking bit. So, UFC 315 breakdown in Canada. Canada, are you ready for hopefully the first decent card you get in a while? I know I'm ready to break it down, so let's do it. You ready? I know I am. UFC 315 breakdown. Begin. And we begin on the early prelims. Of course, it's a pay-per-view. You always have early prelims for pay-per-view, and we have 3 for this card, and they are a mixed bag, to say the very least. I think this should be the featured early prelim, but what the fuck do I know? And in our first fight of the night, we head all the way down to the bantamweight division for one of the few times on this card. I think only 2 fights at bantamweight. Yeah, only one of 2 bantamweight fights of the night. One here, one in the featured bout on the pay-per-view. But we gotta begin here, of course, as we begin the night in Canada with a Canadian fighter, which is rare to say for our UFC critics. They fucking are stupid. As we begin the night with Brad Superman Katona versus Bekzat, the Turan warrior Almakhan, or Almakhan, however you say it. Decent way to begin the night. Not amazing, not the best fight in the world, but it's not bad. Some very interesting dynamics in this fight. We got a veteran, we got a very interesting fighter. A lot of people are intrigued to see back after a good debut. Let's see what happens, man. Katona, Bekzat, opening fight of the night. Not that bad. Not great. Not bad. It's an early prelim, so what can you expect? So let's not waste any more time, and let's get into it as we begin the night with our first fighter of the night, and our first Canadian of the night. One of, I believe, 6 on the card, if I'm correct. We have Brad Katona, the Irish Canadian with the weirdest accent possible. Connor's friend. Brad in the UFC is 4-4 over his 2 UFC runs. In his first one, he went 2-2, and since coming back and winning the Ultimate Fighter again, he is again 2-2 in the UFC. In his second stint, after winning the Ultimate Fighter again, he had some nice wins on the show. Carlos Vieira, who just won a fight, and I think he's awful. He did just win a fight. He beat Timur Valiev, who I thought was going to win the bantamweight division of that show easily. Clearly not. And Cody Gibson in the finale in one of the best fights of 2023. And that's a really respectable win. And then, yeah, just to go back to his first run on the show, he beat Kyler Phillips and Bryce Mitchell, for fuck's sake. And he fought a really young Marab. So, the dude has always fought tough competition. And then, after winning the show again, he has won 1 and 2. He beat Jesse Butler, which is a pathetic win, to be honest. Jesse Butler is just awful. And then in his 2 losses, he lost to Garrett Armfield in a very close fight that could have won either way. And he lost to Gene Matsumoto in another close fight that could have won either way. A lot of people, were these robberies? I remember I called this a robbery at first. I guess it wasn't after I rewatched it. And a lot of people made the case Katona won this fight. I've kind of turned a new leaf on Katona. I don't think he's that bad of a fighter. He's kind of gained my respect. He's kind of proven to be more than just Connor's friend, and since winning the Ultimate Fighter for the second time, he's not a great fighter, but he's decent. I think he's a very decent fighter. He gave Gene Matsumoto a great fight. I think he did better against Gene than Rob Font did. Garrett Armfield, a respectable loss. Cody Gibson again had a banger, was him Fight of the Year contender there. Beat some respectable names on tough like Timur and Kyler. He's not bad. He's 33 years old. He's a decent veteran. No, he's never gonna fucking get a highlight reel finish, but he's not a bad fighter. His striking is fine. His wrestling is fine. He's well-rounded. He's a good veteran. He's a good test for any young fighter, and he's earned my respect. So. Like, the only bad loss in UFC is Hunter Azure. That's a pretty bad one. But all of the other losses, Marab, Armfield, Gene, respectable L's. And those are his only career losses at all. So, I don't mind Katona. He's earned my respect over time. Again, I thought he was kind of a joke and just Connor's friend, like Artem Lobov and anyone else Connor's friends with. But no, I think he's decent at this point. He might be a better fighter than Connor. At this point, I said. So, he's a good veteran. He's a good test for any prospect. And good to see him getting another hometown fight here after losing to Armfield last year. So, did he have 3 fights last year, by the way? he's active, so maybe he should show Connor how to be active. So yeah, I'm not really much more to say about Katona. Again, I think he's earned some respect, at least from me. He's more than Connor's just friend. He's actually a pretty decent fighter, so let's see if he can get his first hometown win. Has he ever won at home in the UFC at least? Because I know he's fought there a few times. Yeah, he's 1-3 in Canada. Ooh, hopefully maybe he'll make it a little more respectable of a record this week. But we'll see, because his opponent is Bekzat Almakhan. Bekzat in the UFC is 0-1 after coming in on short notice to fight Umar Nurmagomedov last year, where he did really damn well. He won round 1, knocking Umar down, but after that he kind of just got snuggled for the last 2 rounds. So we're going off a really small sample size of one performance that was passable. Well, the only performance we've ever fucking seen of him outside that he's fought a bunch of nobodies. He is 27 years old, 11-2. Let's see what this guy can actually do. Full camp against a step down in competition. We'll see. Trust me, Umar fans are praying this dude wins, because if he loses, how shit does Umar look? Which I know Umar sucks, but imagine a dude who took a round off him on short notice fucking loses to Brad Katona after a full camp. Ooh, wait, Umar fans are gonna struggle with that one. But we'll see. I'm intrigued to see how Bekzat looks here. Again, he took a round off Umar, so that's worth something, I think. At least at that time it was. And let's see what this kid can actually do. 27 years old, first full camp fight in the UFC after a long layoff in between fights. Let's see what the kid can do. So, well, really, his striking looked good. His grappling, I kind of already judged his grappling when you were fighting in Nurmagomedov. So I've seen very few fighters look good against a Nurmagomedov on the ground. Vinicius Oliveira comes to mind, and that's about where the list begins and probably ends. So let's see what Bekzat can do. His striking looks decent, because he did drop Umar, who is a passable striker, kind of. So let's see what Bekzat can do in his full camp UFC debut. Not saying his debut in UFC, full debut when it comes to being on a full camp, if that makes any fucking sense. So with that being said, the betting odds for this fight have Bekzat at -180 to +150. Yeah, to an extent, that would probably be the right odds. If he is as good as you think he is, if he took a round off Umar, we'll see. I think those odds are probably, I wouldn't go any higher than -180, but I wouldn't go any lower than like -160. So I think around that slight favorite range makes sense. Katona's a tough fight, but if Bekzat is as good as we guessed he is at that time after that Umar fight, he probably should win this. Unless Katona is able to hold him down like Umar did, which is a possibility. Katona is a very good grappler, and again, we don't really know how good Bekzat's grappling is, because he did just get held down by Umar for 2 rounds, so again, not the most impressive of a grappling game, but kind of with a grain of salt against a Nurmagomedov. Let's see what Umar's former opponent can do. So, my pick here is going to be Bekzat. He's going to win this fight, I think. I don't think it's going to be easy, and I'm happy the odds are being kind of logical. They're not just making him a ginormous favorite. They want to see something from Bekzat, and I respect that. I think that's a really good way to look at this fight. He should be -180, 160 range. I think that makes sense, because let's see what this kid can actually do. So, my pick here is going to be Bekzat by decision. I don't think he's going to finish Katona. Katona has a really good chin, and has never been finished, so I'm going to go Bekzat by decision. I'm intrigued to see what this kid can do. This fight's gonna either show one of two things. We have a really interesting prospect, another one added to the list at bantamweight, or how ass is Umar. So, again, for Umar fans, you better pray this kid wins. So, not saying Katona's a bad fighter to lose to, but come on. And if he's 30-27 him, something Umar couldn't do, y'all look stupid. But I think Bekzat's going to take the win here, so give me Bekzat by decision to spoil the first Canadian of the night, and not start the night well off for the Canadians, but we'll see if they fix that later. Give me Bekzat by decision in what should be a very decent first fight of the night. After that, we go to our second fight of the night with no Canadian in it, but not to fault the UFC for that. They did have a Canadian booked for this fight, but he pulled out, and we'll talk about that in a second. As in our second fight of the night, we go up to the featherweight division for a very intriguing fight. That should be good if it actually happens. We know someone in this fight's prone to pulling out of fights, especially the day of. As in our second fight of the night in the featherweight division, we have Daniel Willie Cat Santos versus Jeong, the Korean Tiger Yeong Lee, or the Korean Tiger Yeong Lee, however you'd like to say it. So again, to not fault the UFC for not having a Canadian in this fight, they did, but he pulled out. It was meant to be Gavin Tucker and G the Yeong Lee, but Tucker, like always, pulled out, so Daniel Santos stepped in, did that. The only thing I'll fault the UFC for is I think there's better fighters to replace Gavin Tucker. Kai Kamaka comes to mind. A lot of fucking guys wanted to get signed for this fight, but whatever. Daniel Santos, for once, stepping into a fight instead of pulling out of it, and Yeong Lee. This should be interesting. Very interesting fight here. Some young-ish fighters, at least MMA-wise, in their careers. Let's see what happens. We'll talk about Daniel Santos first, who we just talked about a few weeks ago when he pulled out his fight with Davey Grant. So if you want to hear me break down Daniel a little more, the link will be in the top right here. When we broke down his fight with Davey Grant on the Emmett Murphy card. That fight got canned. Santos had medical issues the day at the weigh-ins, so I got canned. So now that's 3 fights in a row he's pulled out of over the last 3 years, and this is hopefully the time he actually shows up to the fight for the first time in almost 2 years. So it'd be nice. Not gonna say a lot, since again I already broke down Daniel Santos about a month ago. So I'll give the cliff notes of what I'll say. He's a decent fighter when he's actually fought. He's 2-1 in the UFC. He beat John Castaneda in a great performance, lost to Julio Arce, that's not great, and beat Jai Munoz, not great, but better than nothing. From Shoot Box, he's 30 years old. Let's see what he can do. Let's see how he looks when he comes back. Again, he looked good when he fought before. Let's see how good he looks now. At featherweight, we shouldn't have any medical issues. Just make weight. Let's see how he looks. I probably didn't say much. I probably didn't say much more about him in the breakdown of the Grant fight. And I was picking David Grant to win that fight, by the way. So take that as you will. Let's see what Daniel can let's see what Daniel can do if he actually makes it to the fight here in his first fight in almost 2 years. So it should be interesting. To talk about his opponent, Yeong Lee. Jeong in UFC is also 2-1, coming off the road to UFC, which is never a good sign. In the road to UFC final, I think he got handed a robbery, to be honest. I don't think he won this fight against Yiza, who's not good, so that's not really great look to barely, and in my opinion, not even beat a pretty terrible fighter in Yiza, but take that as you will again, I guess. Then in his first 2 UFC fights after road to UFC, he's went 1-1, beating Blake Builder, which not really impressive of a win, and losing to Haider Emil in a fight I predict him to lose in, so thank you for that. And that has aged great, because Haider Emil is a great fighter, so happy to see that age very well. Lee, I don't think Lee's that good of a fighter, to be honest. He's 29 years old, 11-2. In his 3 UFC fights, I've not been impressed. Again, a robbery, a win over a terrible fighter, and an L to a good fighter, so I'll give him that. I've not really been super impressed with him So, maybe that'll change. We'll see, but yeah, I've just not been overly impressed with him in UFC so far. Maybe it looks better here. First fight in front of a crowd, I believe, because I think he's been in the Apex his whole stint so far, yeah. So, let's see how he looks. They really want to get him out of the Apex, so maybe they see something in him. Let's see. He won the road to UFC, which means nothing. So, they're gonna hype that up like it means something. It means fucking nothing. The only good fighter to win the road to UFC was Yeong, so take that as you will. Let's see what Lee can do. I've not been impressed with him. Maybe this is his coming out party. We'll find out. The betting odds for this fight are not on Tapology, but they do exist, obviously. And I think I looked at them earlier, and they were a pick'em or just about. I would agree. This should probably be a pick'em. You got Daniel Santos coming back after 2 years up a weight class, and Jeong Lee just not being the most impressive of a fighter. A pick'em probably sounds right. Who am I leaning towards here? Probably Daniel Santos, who out of their 3 UFC fights, who do I think's looked better? Santos, even if it was 2 years ago and he's untrustworthy to actually make it to the fight. Shoot to box, great gym. He's 3 inches shorter, which is not great. And again, this is his first fight at featherweight in his career, I believe. Let's see how true that is. This is his first fight ever at featherweight. Well, he fought at a catchweight at 140 against Castaneda. But yeah, this is... No, he fought at featherweight one other time, but it was all the way back in 2015. So, we'll see. Let's see how he looks up 10 pounds. Again, he shouldn't have any medical issues, cutting weight or anything. So, knock on wood. Hopefully we actually get this fight finally. We get to see Daniel Santos fight finally. And, see what happens. My pick is probably going to be Daniel Santos. Again, even if you take away 2 years away, if he's still the same fighter he was, I'm going to pick him to beat Yeong Lee. So, again, if you're going off of who's looked better in their first 3 UFC fights, I'm going to go Daniel Santos by decision here. So, should be fun. I could see this being a very fun fight. These two have had fun fights in the past. So, should be fun. We'll see. But my pick here, gonna be Daniel Santos by decision, I think. Just a better fighter from what I've seen in UFC so far. Again, the only things that really worry with me is inactivity, how rusty is he, and can he actually make it to the fight. If all that shit's fine, give me Daniel Santos by decision. So I finish it as possible. We'll see though. Safe bet, well not bet, but safe pick is to go Daniel Santos by decision. So that's what I'm gonna lean here. What I'm gonna lean with here. So give me Willie Cap by decision to get his first win in his first fight in 2 years. And let's see, it's gonna be a close fight though. I would not be shocked to get this one wrong for numerous reasons. But on paper, give me Daniel Santos by decision. Should be a decent one. The Canadians won't give a shit, but should be a decent fight. And now for our featured early prelim. Not gonna waste time here because this fight is fucking pathetic. How can they justify this bullshit? And then our third fight of the card, our featured early prelim in the middleweight division, we have a fight that is fucking pathetic with a combined 7-fight losing streak between these two, both 35 years old. Someone has to win this fight, sadly. We have to end our early prelims. Power bar Marc-André Barriault versus Bruno Silva. 7-fight losing streak between these two combined. Fucking pathetic. What do you want me to say? Marc-André Barriault sucks. Bruno Silva sucks. Give me Marc-André Barriault by decision. A finish is possible, but who truly knows? They both are fucking garbage. Bruno Silva just rolled over and let Ismael beat him in his last fight. Barriault got knocked out cold by Dustin Stoltzfus. Pathetic. Maybe it'll be a fun fight. That's a possibility. But on paper, this should be a PFL co-main event. Give me Marc-André Barriault by decision. This 7-fight losing streak between the two. Come on. Give me Barriault, the hometown guy, and the guy who I think is a little bit better of a fighter at this point, and the guy who actually might try, because Bruno Silva did not try in his last fight, so give me Barriault by decision in what should be either A, exactly what we expect to be, terrible, or B, surprisingly not terrible. Give me Barriault by decision. Garbage. Just, how can you justify putting that on a UFC card? Outside if he's Canadian, you could probably sign a Canadian who's better. But whatever, UFC, you do you. And that's the prelims, or early prelims. They get worse every fight. They start decently, get a little worse, but still fun, and then get the worst. So, excuse me. Yeah, I don't know what you want me to say. Okay, early prelims. The first fight's alright. The second fight's okay. Third fight's bad. I don't know. I can really say the actual prelims are much better. So weird early prelims. 2 good fights, 1 awful one. An okay way to lead into the actual prelims as we begin those with a light heavyweight bout, and we begin those in general with a fight that should be a lot better and should be a finish, our first one of the night, as in our opening fight of the prelims, our first of back-to-back fights at light heavyweight, and our only fights at light heavyweight, I believe, as we begin the actual prelims with Navajo Bill Skarsgård Stirling versus Ivan Erslan. This is a much better fight than that last fight, and this is a very good fight in general. We should get a finish here, and should be fun. So we all know what the UFC is doing with this fight. I can only imagine what the UFC wants to happen in this fight. I think we all know what's going to happen in this fight. So let's not waste any more time, and let's talk about it as we begin our prelims for our first fighter of them, Navajo Stirling, or better known as Bill Skarsgård. Navajo in the UFC is 1-0 coming out Contender Series, where he got a beautiful knockout, and in his UFC debut, he did not do the same. He had a pretty, I don't want to say tough fought, but a pretty weird debut against Tuco Tacos, where Tuco ate some shots, but I swear if I remember, Tuco kind of just ran away and blocked all fight. Navajo never could really land that big shot on him, and it was just a pretty boring decision. So, not the best debut for Navajo, but I guess you can't do a lot when your opponent kind of just blocks and runs away, Sean Strickland style. So, I get you give him a little bit of a break. He's still young into his career, 27 years old, 6-0 in his career. Like he's a kickboxer, Muay Thai guy from CKB, so we'll see how good he really is, because city kickboxing is very questionable when it comes to talent. I think they've kind of been overrated their whole career, their whole run. But maybe Navajo's the guy to get him back on track. They know how to do light heavyweights. They got Carlos Ulberg. We'll see if Navajo follows in his footsteps. Not a lot to say here. The UFC is giving Navajo another maybe the worst light heavyweight on the roster, and that's saying a lot when he just fought Tuco, who is still on the roster. Yeah, they're just trying to build him up, get a little bit of more experience under his belt, and we'll see after he wins this fight, more than likely, we'll see what they do with him. So, light heavyweight needs all the talent they can get right now, because they don't have a lot of prospects. They got Omer Sy, who's good, they got Yang, who's great, and Navajo Stirling, maybe. Ebo Arslan got fraud checked. Junior Tafa's moving down. I doubt he's going to be very good. Who knows what's going on with Alex Pereira right now, so they need everything they can get. So let's see if Navajo's that new prospect they need, because right now it's pretty much just Omer and Jeong, maybe Navajo adds to the list. A Frenchman, a Chineseman, and a fucking New Zealander. Okay, light heavyweight's not America's division anymore. I guess one a Brazilian and a Russian are the top 2 guys. So, and a Czech Republic. So, yeah, light heavyweight was ran by Americans for a while. Clearly not anymore. To talk about Navajo's opponent, Erslan, yeah, that's how you say it. Evan in the UFC is 0-1. I truly have no idea why they signed him. He was just someone they signed out of the blue, not even a short-nosed fight type of thing. Even when he got signed, people were really questioning it, because a lot of people said he sucked, and that was proven to be very true in his debut when he fought Yeong Cutelaba in one of the worst fights I've ever fucking seen. This dude's awful. He is 33 years old, and he can't fucking fight. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you, he can't fight. He has no cardio, he can't grapple, he's terrible. That fight with Yeong Cutelaba is fucking garbage. So, I guess he was a KSW champion, which, God, how bad is KSW? Or no, he fought for the KSW belt twice and lost. So, how bad is KSW that he did okay over there? 4-3. Yeah, I don't know why they signed him, and they're clearly just feeding him to Navajo now. They gave him a debut he could have won, he looked like ass and lost, and now it's time to feed him to the wolves. So, yeah, is he better or worse than Navajo's first opponent? I would say, I think Tuco's better than Evan, so. Either way, they both suck, and Navajo's gonna beat him easily, so what does that tell you? The betting odds for this fight have Navajo Stirling minus 290 to +1 to +235. You could have Navajo minus 400, in my opinion. I think he was a bigger favorite against Tuco. Oh, what's he? Yeah, minus 900. You could have him about the same in this fight. I don't see how Evan wins this fight. On the feet, he's worse. On the ground, I don't think he can grapple for shit. He's 33 years old. He's much shorter and much slower. He has no cardio. This is a Navajo Stirling knockout round 1 if I've ever seen it. If I'm being honest, like, I think the guy Navajo fought on the Contender Series was better than his first 2 UFC fights. So, yeah, this should be a Navajo knockout round 1. Evan is terrible. It's truly that simple. Like, unless he uses the same strategy as Tuco, and then it's just gonna be another Navajo Stirling decision. Give me Navajo by knockout in the first. Definitely lock of the night option. He's not the lock of the night, but he's definitely, if I had to pick a second option, it would be him. So, Navajo Stirling knockout in the first. He was the lock of the night in his debut, so let's see how he looks here. Quick, easy win for him to get a little more experience under his belt, so simple. Can't really say much else. UFC building up a prospect, giving him the worst of the worst. It makes sense when you're this green into your career, so I'm not upset at it. If you give him another can after this, then we're in weird territory, but right now, Navajo knockout in the first sounds fine to me. It's simple. Can't get much simpler than that. After that, we go to our second fight of the prelims, staying in the light heavyweight division for a fight that's also, I don't know if I want to call it better than the Stirling fight, because that's going to end in a knockout more than likely, but this one's not bad either. This one's very decent between two guys who looked very good in their last few fights. As in our second fight of the prelims, staying at light heavyweight for the final time tonight. I think the last time we get a heavyweight class in general. Next, the heaviest weight class after this is welterweight. So let's end the heavy boys with a good fight. As in our second fight of the prelims, we stay at light heavyweight for Modestas, the Baltic gladiator Bukauskas versus Eon, the Hulk Cutelaba. This is a good fight, which is weird to say, since which would be insane to say a few years ago about these two, but this fight's not bad at all, to be honest. Again, I know it's crazy to say, but Modestas has kind of had a career renaissance, looking very good lately, and Yeong has won 2 in a row somehow. So, it's weird that this fight's not bad. Like, 2 years ago, this fight would be a fucking Apex prelim, and now this fight's almost a top 15 fight. Like, these two could easily have a ranking, depending on who wins. So, crazy how careers change so quickly, so... This one should be interesting. I'm very intrigued in this one, so let's talk about it. We'll begin with Modestas Bukauskas. Modestas in UFC is now 5-4, a winning record for the first time in the UFC, I believe. In his first UFC run, we all know it went pretty bad. Got 1 win, lost 3 in a row, and got cut. Then he won 2 in a row outside of the UFC, and since coming back, he's went 4-1. Beating Tyson Pedro, Zach Pounga, Marcin Prachnio, and Rafael Cerqueira. Yeah, that's a very bad list of fighters. And he did lose to Vitor Petrino, which, goddamn, had that aged badly. Modestas, since coming back, has been interesting. He's looked very, especially in his last 2 fights, he's looked very good. He looked amazing against Rafael Cerqueira. He looked great against Marcin Prachnio. But the kind of asterisk you got put on his first 5 fights back is the best fighter he's fought is Tyson Pedro. Fucking yeah, probably Tyson Pedro, who's awful. Zach Pounga was a joke. Vitor Petrino's god awful. Marcin Prachnio's god awful. Rafael Cerqueira's the worst. So. As good as he's been looking lately, you kind of gotta put an asterisk because he's beating the lowest level. Like, I talked about Navajo Stirling fighting low-level talent. Fucking Tuco Tacos would probably be Modestas' best opponent if he fought him right now, so... You kind of got, like... I get you gotta fight who you can fight, and light heavyweight's a very shallow division when it comes to talent. But, like, goddamn, man, Tyson Pedro's your best win since coming back? Your best opponent since coming back? Don't love that, but that's what light heavyweight is, man. But even if you want to look past that, Modestas has looked good lately. He has power now, out of nowhere. He has a ground game a little bit. He has submission game. He's looked better. I'll give him that. He's looked much, much, much better. The best I've ever seen him look, so... I'll give him his flowers, even if he's beat some really weak competition, so... Take your good and your bad. Talk about his opponent, Yeong Cutelaba. Someone I've talked about more times than I would like to admit, because, Jesus Christ, how is he still here? 8-9-1 in UFC, not gonna go down his whole UFC career. I think we know that by now. He's had a very weird UFC career, beat some, lost to others, yada 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 yada. I'll talk about his last couple fights. He went on a bad losing streak back in 2022. Had that random great performance against Devin Clark in 2021 where he looked like the best fighter in the fucking world, and then went on that losing streak. Beat Tanner Boser in his last UFC fight, which that's not really impressive. Lost to Felipe Lins, and Lins got cut after that fight, not Yeong, so what did that tell you? And then since that fight, he's went on a 2-fight winning streak, beating Ivan Erslan, who we just talked about, in Ibo Aslan. Ivan we talked about is garbage, and that fight was bad. Ibo, that was probably the best performance Ivan has had in since Devin Clark, to be honest. Fraud checking Ibo Aslan. Easily the best performance Yeong has had, again, in years. He's not a good fighter, though, if we're just being honest. He's not a great striker. He's very powerful, but he's not a good striker. His wrestling is very good. He's very strong, but for about 3 minutes, because he has no fucking cardio. But I say that, and then you have random fights where you can go 15 minutes, so what the fuck do I know? But more than likely, by a fight-by-fight basis, Yeong can't go more than 5 minutes being generous. He has terrible cardio, so... But he never quits, I'll give him that. He might gas, he will never quit, so I'll give him respect in that regard. But he's still a terrible fighter. He's 31 years old, 19-10-1. Yeah, he's terrible. So, We'll see. Maybe he can get 3 in a row. This is the first winning streak in a while since back in 2018. So he's never had a 3-fight winning streak in UFC. I wonder why. Well, maybe that changes here. We'll see. Not very much else to say about Yeong. I've broken Yeong down more times than I would like to admit, as I said, so not really much else to say. No cardio. He's Merab without the cardio. That's the perfect way to describe him. He's Merab without the cardio. And maybe a little bit better of a striker. Maybe. So, that's the perfect way to describe him. The Baghan's first fight are not as they say here. They are a complete pick'em. Last time I looked, about -115, -120. I think Modestas is looking to be the favorite a little bit. We'll see how that goes by closing time. I think Modestas should be like -150, -140. I think he's a better fighter. Lately, especially, I think he's a better fighter. This is going to be a tough one, though, because you got two very untrustworthy fighters. Yeong, again, by a fight-by-fight basis, is a pain in the ass to predict. You want proof? He's a pain in the ass to try and predict. He's a pain in the ass to try and predict, because he makes no fucking sense. And Modestas, this fucking fairy tale run could end at any second. So you're kinda, whoever you pick here, you are crossing your fingers with very little confidence. Who am I leaning towards here? I'm leaning Buka. I'm leaning Modestas Bukauskas. I think he's a better fighter. But that might, a lot of the times, that does not matter against Yeong Cutelaba, which is always annoying. But I do think Buka's a better fighter. I think on the feet, he's much better. He's taller. And cardio, I think he's better. If he can survive round 1, he's going to be in good shape. But he just has to survive round 1 and keep Yeong off of him. Modestas is not the toughest fighter to finish, so if Yeong can finish him, don't be shocked. Or not even can, if Yeong finishes him. But if Modestas can survive round 1, and you start seeing Yeong breeze heavy and just shoot lackluster takedowns, I think Modestas is going to win this fight, if he's not totally gassed, because I'm not saying Modestas has a great gas tank either. We've seen him gas in the past as well. But if he can survive round 1, not getting knocked out on the feet or taken down and beat the shit out of, I think Modestas Bukauskas is going to win this fight. So give me Modestas Bukauskas by decision. I think he should be able to win this fight. I think he's a better fighter. Again, a lot of time that does not matter versus the Yeong Cutelaba, but we'll see. We'll really see. I get why it's a pick'em. The pick'em odds do make sense, but if you really think about the fight, who's the better fighter? It's Buka. But again, against Yeong Cutelaba, that means nothing. So give me fucking Yeong beat Chloe Roundtree somehow. Give me Modestas Bukauskas by decision. I would not be shocked at a finish if he can make it late into the fight. If he still has some cardio left, I would not be shocked seeing Yeong like shoot a lazy takedown and get just beat up and sprawl or something. But I'm gonna go Modestas by decision. I think he should be able to squeak this one out if he can survive round 1. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be my, like, out of all my picks so far, this is the one I'm most like about. So give me Modestas by decision, and what should be a fight a lot of people probably get wrong, because who the fuck knows. But give me Buka by decision. Maybe a late finish is possible, but I'm gonna go decision. Not enough said about that fight. After that, we go to the best fight, the best fight on the prelims, what should be on the main card, just like a fight that got snubbed of the main card last week, Marina Rodriguez, Jillian Robertson. We have a top 15 battle in the women's divisions, this time flyweight, not strawweight. Flyweight has all the shine tonight, as in our co-main event, the prelims should be on the main card. We have a very, very good fight. This should be a banger, even if people don't want to admit it, it should be a banger. As in our co-main event, the prelims in the women's flyweight division, a top, what is Jasmine ranked, 13th, 12th ranked battle between Jéssica Beta Estoca Andrade versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. This should be a great fight. I'm very excited for this fight. We got two badasses meeting in the middle of the cage. This is gonna be fun. Again, should be on the main card over some fraud beating up some tomato can, which we'll talk about very soon. But yeah, this fight should be great. I'm so excited for this fight. This is one of my favorite fights on the card. A, because one of my favorite fighters, isn't it? And B, because who doesn't love Jéssica Andrade? When has she ever had a bad... Well, the Marina Rodriguez fight kind of sucked, but that's a minor detail. I'm very excited for this fight, and should be a banger. Should be on the main card, again, but whatever. JA versus JJ. Let's break it down. And we'll begin with the legend, one of the few female fighters you can say should be in the Hall of Fame, and will be one of maybe the BMF when it comes to female fighters, Jéssica Andrade. 33 years old, still somehow young as shit. 17 and 11 in the UFC. Somehow she's the younger fighter here, which makes no fucking sense. In the UFC again, 17 and 11, I believe. Yeah, we're not gonna go down her whole UFC career because we'd be here for a fucking decade. Former champion at strawweight, yada yada yada. We'll talk about since moving up to flyweight. Her record is, let's see, 2-1, 3-1. 3-2, I believe. She beat Shukagian, Calvillo, and Murphy, and lost to Valentina and Natália Silva. Yeah, Natália Silva. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but I believe those are her only fights at flyweight. Unless I missed one, but... Oh yeah, Erin Blanchard does. So she's 3-3 at flyweight. Kind of like, we all know she's great at strawweight, even though she's not. It doesn't seem like it lately. Strawweight's her real division, but for some reason she's a psychopath that wants to fight at flyweight, and she won 3-3. Her wins are not the best. Caitlin Shukagian in a fight I did not expect her to win. I remember thinking she was going to get fucking crushed because she is so tiny, but see how smart I am. Got the title shot against Val, got completely mauled. Then fought Cynthia Calvillo, beat her easily, then crushed Lauren Murphy. Fought Erin Blanchfield again as a favorite and lost, and then in her last fight she fought Natália Silva and just could not get on the inside against her. So 3-3. And her losses at flyweight, Val, Natália Silva, and Erin Blanchfield, I don't think anyone could be upset. Now she's fighting Jasmine, which is an interesting one. The first grappler she's fought since Mackenzie Dern, who she beat, and the first grappler she's fought at flyweight since Erin Blanchfield, who beat her. So take that as you will. Grappling's never been her strongest suit because she is really tiny, and usually that's a problem for her at heavier weight classes. At strawweight, she's never really been bullied on the ground, from what I remember. Like Tatiana, but that's Tatiana. Outside that, who had really bullied Jéssica Andrade on the ground at flyweight or at strawweight? Like, I really don't like no one, because she's probably stronger than them. But at flyweight, she's been flyweight, and once she fought at bantamweight somehow, she's been bullied on the ground a lot. So, and she's fighting a grappler here, so we're gonna find out if that happens again. We all know Andrade has that fucking kill shot on the feet. She's very powerful. She's a really good striker. It's on the ground is where this fight's probably going to be a lot, and we're going to see how she does there. On the feet, she probably... I don't think Jasmine's a bad striker, but compared to Andrade, I don't think she wants to strike for her, especially since, what's the size here? 5'7" to 5'1", 68 to 62. Maybe that size could be a problem, but more than likely, again, Jasmine's going to want to grapple Andrade. So, again, we've seen that be a problem for Andrade at times. So, we'll see. If Jasmine wants to go at a striking match, that really helps Andrade. But why would anyone with a brain want to strike Jéssica Andrade? I don't know. Speaking of Jasmine, her opponent, obviously. Jasmine, 36 years old, 7-2 in the UFC, coming off the Contender Series many years ago, all the way back in 2021, and she's been very active since. Her wins in the UFC have been Kay Hansen, Gabriela Fernandez, Miranda Maverick, Priscilla Cachoeira, Fatima Klein, Ariane Lipski, and Mayra Bueno Silva. And her two losses have been Natália Silva and Tracy Cortez. Jasmine is a very good fighter, and I think people are just now starting to realize that. like her UFC career didn't start off great, beating Kahan, and she beat Julia Pilarstri, a really good UFC fighter, on a Contender Series. So, but and her UFC career started off kind of weak. Beating Kay Hansen ain't great. We didn't know Natália Silva was amazing until after that fight. Gabriela Fernandez was not a good one at the time. Now it is. Miranda Maverick, that's a really good win. Tracy Cortez is a really bad loss. And then she went on her winning streak. Cachoeira's not great. Fatima Klein's a great win. Lipsky, not great. Myra Bueno Silva, really not great. But she is active and she's trying to make it 5 in a row, climbing the rankings. Again, Jasmine, I think people are just not realizing she's good. Her grappling is great, one of the best female grapplers in the UFC right now. Her striking still has a ways to go. She's shown decent striking in the past. Her best striking performance was probably against Miranda Maverick, from what I remember. But again, against Andrade, she's not going to want to strike at all. I'm not saying she couldn't beat Andrade in a striking match, but I'm saying it's slim to none of a chance that she does. So take that as you will. I like Jasmine, but let's be honest, striking Jessica Andrade is a death sentence. Grappling her is a lot easier, and that's probably going to be her game plan, and we'll see if it works. She's vicious on the ground. She's not a lay and pray fighter. She's a get you down and beat the piss out of you fighter. So, we'll see if that works here. Ask Cachoeira about that fucking lay and pray. Cachoeira wished she got laid on, because goddamn, she got her fucking teeth caving into her fucking eyebrows. But yeah, Jasmine, very good fighter. And, yeah, I feel like finally getting the respect she deserves. Now fighting a legend after a 4-fight winning streak. Let's see if she's legit. Let's see if she can climb that top 15. Gonna be interesting. At home, she's undefeated at home, I believe. Her only loss were in Canada, or in Vegas and Texas. So, she's undefeated in Canada, 3-0. Or 4-0, my bad. Let's see if she can make it 5-0. The Bang After fight says she will at minus 280 for Jasmine Jasudavicius to plus 230. I think those odds are a little much. I do think Jasmine should win, but I think that big of a favorite's a little crazy. I would probably have her down to maybe a minus 240, 250. Again, more than likely a very high chance this fight's going to be Jasmine holding Andrade down for 15 minutes. But Jasmine's not a coward. She'll go in there and strike for Andrade. It's a stupid fucking idea, but she will do it. I don't think she will. I think round 1 she might, and when she feels that power, like most wrestling fights, she'll shoot. But you never know. Jasmine's a psychopath. They might want to go out there and have a fight of the night. So, only one way to find out. I'm gonna go Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision, though. I think she's gonna do the smart thing and grapple. And if she can get Andrade down, which more than likely she will be able to, I'm gonna go Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision. So, could I see the upset happening here? Yes. Could Andrade stop the takedowns? Yes. Could she beat Jasmine on the feet? Yes. But the beating her on the feet thing is unlikely, and the stopping the takedowns has never been Andrade's strong suit. So we're gonna find out. What happens here? I'm very intrigued. Again, this is one of my favorite fights on the whole card. I think this is a banger, and it should be on the pay-per-view, as I said. But, we'll see what happens here on ESPN, not on the pay-per-view, sadly. Give me Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision. Even unbiasedly, because I'm a fan of both these two, but Jasmine is one of my favorite fighters. I think she's going to win this fight. I think she's going to be able to get it. It might be a tight one. She might lose a round. But if she can get Andrade down, she will win. So, give me Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision, and what should be a really tough fight for her. But it may be the fight she needs, because if you can beat Andrade, you're legit. So, give me Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision, and what should be a very good fight against a legend. I can't wait. And now, time for our featured prelim in the welterweight division. Fight that is not great, but not terrible. I think the Jasmine fight's better, and that should be the featured prelim, if not, again, on the pay-per-view, but I get why this is a decent fight in its own right, even even if I do think other fights are better. And then our featured prelim, we end the card at welterweight, we end the prelims at welterweight. Let's see what happens in this one. And then our featured prelim, all the way up to the welterweight division, we end the prelims with proper Mike Malott versus Charles Chuck Buffalo Radtke. Decent featured prelim. I get why it's a featured prelim. They still want to pretend Mike Malott's a real prospect or whatever, even though he's been brutally fraud checked as not good. But whatever, this should be an interesting fight, and I might have an opinion, many don't for this fight, so we'll see. Yeah, decent fight. Still not the best prelim, should not be the featured prelim, but whatever, I get it. And let's talk about it. Finally, we got Canadian versus Bilal's teammate. We'll see how Bilal's camp starts tonight. No Ignacio Bahamondes on the card, which lame, because every card needs Ignacio Bahamondes, but whatever. Let's talk about this fight, as we will begin with the Canadian, like most fights, Mike Malott. Mike in the UFC is 4-1 coming out of Contender Series, and after he won on a Contender Series, he went on a 3-fight winning streak, beating Mickey Gall, Johan Lainus, and Adam Fugit. He looked alright. Knocked out Mickey Gall, easily beat Johan Lainus, beat Adam Fugit. He looked okay. Not amazing, but okay. And then he got completely fraud checked by Neil Magny. Yeah, he sucks. And then, he beat Trevin Giles, which no one fucking remembers. I didn't even fucking remember. And, yeah. Yeah, he sucks. He is a complete can crusher. Like, even in that Adam Fugit fight, he didn't look great. You know, Adam Fugit's probably his best fucking win, which says a lot. Yeah, Mike Malott's terrible. Like, I don't really think we need to lie. He's terrible. He benefited from can crushing, and he's just like every other prospect to use that gets fraud checked. The UFC does the weirdest shit in the world. They have him fight complete tomato cans and then get the ginormous jump up possible to you go from cans to a seasoned veteran in the top 15 and you lose. It's the dumbest fucking way to build up a prospect. Instead of building them up slowly to higher competition that they could actually lose to, you give them these cans to build their confidence that when they fight someone who actually fights back, they lose. Stupid fucking idea. But that's the UFC for you. Oh, he lost to Hakeem Dawodu back in the day, somehow. I don't think Malott's very good. I never thought Malott's very good. I think he's, again, a can crusher. He looked okay at the time, but again, Johan Lainus, not in UFC. Mickey Gall, legendary garbage. And Adam Fugit, And you got fraud checked by Neil Magny. Like, every prospect beats Neil Magny, at least tries to. Most of them don't, but a lot try. And, yeah, Malott did not do a very good job of that, so we'll see. Maybe he gets his first, decent UFC win here, because Radtke is easily, if he beats Radtke, it's easily his best win in the UFC, but it's not going to be an easy one. It's not going to be as easy as Trevin Giles. Again, raise your hand if you remember that fight even happened. I don't. I truly don't until I looked earlier. I thought he fought Angel Osa, and I was wrong, because I got him mixed up with Gabriel Bonfim. Another fraud. He actually looks he looks decent in his last fight, so maybe he's not a fraud. But that's beside his point. Mike Malott, I don't think is very good, and, UFC's still trying to push him as a good one. His teammate Jasmine is way better. To talk about his opponent, Charles Radtke. Charles in UFC is 3-1. His 3 wins have been Blood Diamond, Gilbert Urbina, and Matthew Semelsberger. His 1 loss in UFC was to Prime Carlos Prates. I know I'm not gonna fucking turn around and say Radtke has good wins, because he doesn't. After just shitting on Mike Malott, I'm not gonna turn around and say a guy whose best win is Matthew Semelsberger has great wins, but I'm gonna be fucking fair about it. Radtke, I don't think he's a bad fighter, but he's definitely fought many bad fighters. Blood Diamond, one of the worst fighters I've ever seen. Gilbert Urbina, garbage can. Matthew Semelsberger, untapped potential, and then got killed by Carlos Prates. I don't think Radtke's a bad fighter. but he's fought a lot. Again, the UC has not really given him a chance to prove he's not terrible. He's 34 years old. He's from Bilau's camp. Yeah, I think him, Ignacio, and Bilau are like that camp. I don't know if there's anyone else in it. Losing to Protez ain't the worst thing in the world, even though he did just get fraud checked a few weeks ago, but it happened. And then, again, the other three, Semmelsberger, Urbina, okay, is Radtke's 3 wins better than any of Mickey Gall's? Or if any than, not Mickey Gall, is better than Mike Malott's? Yeah, probably. Like, if you want to go by that logic, I think Radtke probably has better wins. I think Semmelsberger is better than, who's Malott's best win? Fucking Adam Fugit. So, but both of these guys are not beating anyone good, so we're gonna see how they do against a little bit better competition, cause, shit, I don't know what the fuck with that. Since we did see them both fight a top fighter and get beat, so, yeah. But, yeah, not a lot to say about Radtke. He has really good power in his hands. We've not really seen his grappling much. I think the only fight we saw was the Blood Diamond fight, and it did not look great. So we'll see how it looks here. I think he's definitely going to have to stop some takedowns or shoot him. Who knows? But his striking is decent. He has good power, and, we'll see how he looks here. Going over to enemy territory again, like he did for his debut. Let's see how he looks. The betting odds first fight have Mike Malott minus 225 to plus 180. I think those odds are crazy to have Mike Malott that big of a favorite in his first real fight in a while against his toughest opponent outside of Neil Magny. I get if you want to have Malott a favorite, but if you take away the hype Malott had, this would probably be a pick'em, or Radtke would be the favorite in my opinion. Because again, neither of these guys have beat anyone good. Malott's not beat anyone good to prove he should be minus 225 here. If Malott has to be the favorite, which I get to an extent, but that's just because his past hype and more people know who he is, you can't have him any more than like minus 160, and I even think that might be a little bit of a fucking reach. So, yeah. I'm going to charge Radtke. I think he's the, not counting JDM and Manon Fior, I think Radtke is the best underdog on the card. I don't think Malott's good. I think Malott breaks under pressure, and Radtke's not a bitch. He's not going to go down without a fight. And if you break, like, what's the size here? So he's a little shorter and an inch in reach. And on the feet, I think Radtke has more power. I don't know if he's a better striker, but he has more power. On the ground, we're going to see. You train with Bilau. If Bilau could do one good thing for you, is show you how to grapple. If Bilau can teach you anything, and the only thing he can teach you is how to grapple. So, I think this fight's going to really come down to cardio. I think round one, it's going to come down to who wins round one and who has better cardio. The cardio that both guys have gassed. Radtke gassed pretty badly against Blood Diamond. Malott gassed and lost to Neil Magny. And then, and who wins round one? Because whoever takes round one, depending if they both gas, then that's really going to be interesting to look at. But we're gonna see. I'm very intrigued in this fight. I don't think it's a Mike Malott pick easily. Again, I don't agree with these betting odds. I think they're a little off. Very off, actually. It's not 2022 anymore. Malott's been proven to be shitty. And Radtke's never been hyped up to be something special. So you got Mr. Hyped Up versus Mr. No Hype. The guy who had everything handed to him to a guy who fucking kind of worked for everything. I'm gonna go Radtke. I think he's a better fighter. I think he has better power. I think he has more heart. I think his cardio is a little better. I think his grappling, probably at bare minimum, should be able to keep Malott off of him. Again, if this stupid fuck could teach you anything, it's how to grapple. Give me Charles Radtke by decision. I think he's better. I just think he's better. We'll see if I'm right or not. But A, Canadian Malott especially have a proneness to choke at home. B, I'm gonna go with the guy who I think is better, more well-rounded, and has more heart. Give me the underdog. Give me Charles Radtke by decision. I would not be shocked if he broke Malott late in the fight if he has the cardio for it and Malott gasses badly. Give me Charles Radtke by decision. I think he's a better fighter. And I think these odds are a little crazy, so give me the guy who I think's better. can't really say much else. Will this look stupid by the end of the night? We'll see. Either I'm going to look stupid or smart. Only one way to find out. Give me Charles Radtke by decision to upset the Canadian crowd going into the main card. And prove Malott still fucking sucks. Charles Radtke by decision, but a finish late, or even early as possible, because Radtke has bombs in his hands. But I don't think... But I'm not saying Malott can't. Again, I get why Malott's the favorite. He could cuddle Radtke, but I think Radtke's going to take it. I think he's a better fighter to give me the Chuck Buffalo by decision to get the upset, to end the prelims, and send the Canadians into the main card pretty upset. Will it be a bad pick? Only one way to find out. And that's the prelims, finally, an hour and 5 minutes later. They're alright. The early prelim, like, to be honest, outside of the Barriault fight, there's really no bad prelim. Really no bad fights on these prelims. Like, what could you call bad? Bekzat's a good fight. Santos should be decent. Navajo should be quick and easy. Bukauskas should be decent-ish. Jasmine should be a banger. Radtke could be fun. Even the Barriault fight could be fun, but that fight's just disgusting. Just if you look at the fucking facts and circumstances behind it. So, decent prelims. It might not look it if you're a casual, might not think that. But if you know what you're looking at, and you know who you're looking at, and you know what you're looking for, it's decent in my opinion. I don't mind them. I think the order is fucked up, but I don't mind it. So, decent prelims to lead into a very weird main card. It begins and ends pretty badly, but the middle is good. So, let's get into that main card. 5 more fights, an hour and 6 minutes in. Let's talk about it. Main card time, UFC 315, pay-per-view time. You ready? I know I am. Let's continue this breakdown. As we begin the main card with the most pathetic fight on the card, I'm not even going to waste your time here. The fact that I even clicked on this is disgusting. As in our main card opener, our pay-per-view opener for UFC 315, we begin in the lightweight division with the Fraud of War, Benoit Saint-Denis versus Kyle Killshot Prepolec. I think is how you say it. Prepolec. Benoit, you pussy bitch. So, why are we getting this fight? Because Joel Alvarez pulled out about a week ago, and they needed a new opponent. So, thanks, Joel, you fucking bitch. At least he's going to welterweight finally. So, instead of Benoit saying yes to any real opponent, Mateusz Rebecki, Mauricio Ruffi, Renato Moicano, probably, no, he already fought him. Mateusz Gamrot, probably the top one people talk about. He said no and ducked all of those guys for this fucking nobody layup. I hate fighters like that. I'm not gonna waste your time. Benoit Saint-Denis is the lock of the night, minus 1,000 favorite. Yeah. Against a guy who went 0-2 in UFC and got cut because he sucked against Austin Hubbard and someone else I don't even fucking remember. Yeah, give me Benoit Saint-Denis by knockout in the first, the lock of the night. Pathetic. It is truly pathetic by Benoit that he fucking openly ducked any real opponent he could have got and only took the layup of layups. So, I would love for this guy to beat him. But let's be honest, this dude's fucking garbage. Benoit's gonna smash his fucking teeth in. And, the Fraud of War is gonna get his first win in a while because he can't beat anyone actually good. Give me Benoit Saint-Denis by knockout in first. My lock of the night. Coward shit. Coward. It's that simple. After that, we go to our second fight of the main card. Our fucking maybe best fight on the card at this point. Because Jesus Christ, this is a fucking banger. This is striking porn, if we're being honest. I don't know if I can say that in a video. I don't care. As in our second fight of the main card, our second fight at strawweight, and our second to last fight at, or flyweight, I mean, and our second to last fight at flyweight on this card, because flyweight has a lot going on tonight. We have in our second fight of the main card, Alexa Grasso versus Natália Silva. Again, probably the best fight on the card. pure just striking for you striking purists like me. This is fucking art. This is gonna be amazing. One of the best strikers in the UFC versus one of the best kickboxers in the UFC. What else can you ask for? This is a banger. These are the fights that should be fight night main events, but I'm definitely okay for just getting some pay-per-view points and some pay-per-view love. So, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into probably the best fight on the card. Could easily be fight of the night. Grasso, Silva. I won't say what I said before again, because again, I don't know if I can say it on YouTube. But yeah, this is striking pulling into the ninth degree, so let's talk about it. We'll begin with the former champion and the higher ranked fighter, Alexa Grasso. Karen Grasso. The fuck? 31 years old, coming off losing the belt to Valentina. Alexa is 8-4-1 in the UFC. She's had a good UFC career, since moving up from strawweight, where she just couldn't really never get it going. Since moving up to flyweight, she is 5-1-1. She went on a nice winning streak, beating Ji Yeon Kim, Macy Barber, which how could have that win aged, Joanne Wood, Viviane Araújo, and she won the belt from Valentina. Then had a draw with Valentina, even though I think she won that fight, and then she lost to Valentina, getting cuddled that whole fight. So she's finally done fighting Valentina after 2 years of fighting her. She finally gets the breakout. Yeah, she lost the belt, but what fuck, after a while, probably just better to not have to fight Valentina again. And now we get to see what she has left after that Valentina trilogy. Those Valentina fights took a lot out for her. That first fight, she got the upset no one expected. In the second fight, they both took a beating and had one of the best fights of the year. And then in that third fight, she kind of took no damage, just got cuddled. So now we'll see what she has left after that. We know Grasso is one of the best strikers in MMA. She's just one of the most crisp boxers, strikers, whatever you want to call, in MMA. Her ground game, defensively, has always been shit. Her offensive grappling is okay. She does have Diego Lopez as a coach, so, you know, not too upset about that. You can have a much worse grappling coach, and clearly he has paid off for her at times. Look at when she subbed Valentina. So you gotta look at it that way. Offensively, her grappling shit. Defensively, it's okay. Or defensively, it's shit. Offensively, it's okay. Probably not gonna have to worry about it here because Natália Silva, I don't think I've even seen her shoot a takedown yet in the UFC, so, and maybe if she has, I don't remember it, so I think she should be okay in that department. We'll see what Grasso has left. If she's still what she was before, then it's gonna be a tough one for Silva. Grasso's very damn good, and yeah, she was champ for a reason, so it's she didn't fall into being champ, and then she proved it wasn't a fluke in the fucking rematch. We'll see how Grasso looks for her first time not fighting Valentina in 2 years. To talk about her opponent, Natália Silva, finally getting her fucking big spotlight after going 5-0, 6-0 in the UFC at 28 years old, 6-0. Since coming to the UFC, she's just wrecked shop. Of course, again, winning 6 in a row, beating Jasmine Jasudavicius, Trevor Bleda, Victoria Leonardo, Andrea Lee, Viviane Araújo, and Jéssica Andrade. Yeah, she has been fucking amazing in the UFC. I don't even know if she's lost a round, really. If she has, it's like 1. Like, your debut against Jasmine Jasudavicius, that should say enough as is. Beat Bleda, who is not a terrible win. Leonardo's pretty bad. Andrea Lee's pretty bad. Araújo, that aged pretty nicely. And Jéssica Andrade, that aged really nicely. Nice fight of the night right there. She's good. Her kicks are fucking amazing. Her striking is decent. We've, again, not really seen her ground game. 7 submission wins. Maybe Grasso will have to fucking stop takedowns. She's good, though. She's really damn good. I'm trying, like, who would I compare her striking to? Like, I don't even know, to be honest. Like, she just throws kicks at such a high goddamn rate. It's like, Jesus Christ, her cardio looks great for 3 rounds. Like, she just looks well-rounded and good as shit. So, big fan of Natália Silva. She's really good, and again, I'm happy she's finally getting her spotlight on pay-per-view after 6 wins. It's about goddamn time. Let's see how she performs under the big lights against a former champion. She just beat a former champion in Andrade, now fighting another one in Grasso. See how she looks, man. It's her time to shine. Is she legit? Only one way to find out. She's looked very legit in her first 6 fights. Can she make it 7-0? Probably line herself up for a title shot next. Let's find out. Natália Silva getting her big spotlight finally. What else can you say? She's been flawless in the UFC. Hopefully she doesn't go down like her fucking, like Karini Silva. Can't be that of her. The Bekzat's worth right having Natália Silva minus 205 to plus 170. I think that's a little big of a betting odds because Grasso is still very good. I'd probably have Natália minus 180, 190-ish. Even then, you're going to try and... Being in a striking match with Alexa Grasso is pretty scary. They're about the same in height and all that. Grasso's a better pure hands striker, but when you factor in Natália's kicking game, it's gonna get interesting. This should be a good one. This should be a very good fight, and I'm very excited for it. Again, this could easily be 5 of the night. This could easily be the best fight on the card. On paper, I think it is. And now we get to see if it's going to be an execution, and I think it's going to be a good fight. In worst case scenario, it's good. I don't think it's going to be fucking terrible. I would be shocked if it's terrible. I think worst case scenario is a good fight, and I think it could easily be 5 of the night. But who do I think is going to win this fight? It's a tough one. Because the more you think about it, you're going to bet on someone against Alexa Grasso in a striking match. Something Valentina couldn't even win against Grasso. And many others haven't been able to win against Alexa. Because she's just maybe the best female pure boxer. She's like the Piotr Jan of females. She's just such a pure boxer. It's scary. But Natália's just looked fucking great. Her kicks are great. Her striking's great. This is a tough one to predict. This gets closer to a pick'em than you think. I'm still gonna go with the favorite. I'm leaning now Natália for the first time ever picking against Alexa. I love Alexa Grasso, one of my favorite fighters. Amazing fighter. But it's hard to not pick Natália here. We'll see how Alexa looks after that Valentina trilogy. How she looks fighting someone not named Valentina for the first time in years, and how she does against someone who almost matches her in striking. So this is gonna be an interesting one. I can't wait. If Grasso pulls off the upset, quotation marks, I won't be shocked. But it's hard not to lean Natália Silva here, so give me Nat Silva by decision. I don't think a finish is going to happen in this fight. I don't know where, maybe a fluky submission. Outside of that, I don't see if KO of any sorts. These two are tough, and I don't think either really have that great of power. Maybe Natália with a kick, but Grasso seems tough as shit, so good luck with that. I'm going to go Natália Silva here, I think. It's a close one, though. Again, if you're leaning Grasso, I get it. If you're leaning Natália, I get it. This is going to be a banger, though. I cannot fucking wait. And I'm going Natália Silva by decision, I think. It's going to be a tough one, though. I won't be shocked if we get, some split decision, a tight fight, fight of the night, etc. I can't wait. I can't say enough good things about this fight. I fucking love it, and I'm really excited, so giving Natália Silva by decision. I hate picking against Alexa for the first fucking time ever, because Alexa, again, one of my favorite female fighters. But, yeah, I just think it's time for a new guard in this division, and Natália Silva is part of that. So, giving Natália Silva by decision to win what should be a fucking banger of a fight. I think her kicks are going to be the main factor to get her the win here. We'll see. We'll see. Natália Silva by decision in a fucking banger. After that, we go to our featured bout in the bantamweight division. More matchmaking that makes no fucking sense for a legend, but the UFC. As in our third fight of the main card, our featured bout, as I said, in the bantamweight division. Our last time going into bantamweight tonight, since the opening fight of the card, first time at bantamweight, as we have a top 15 battle, which should be very fun, but also kind of predictable, as we have in our featured bout of the pay-per-view, MMA Twitter's favorite fighter, José Aldo Jr. versus Aiemann Zahabi. good fight, even if the matchmaking for Jose Aldo still makes no fucking sense. Why is he not fighting Cejudo, Song Yadong, other fighters who actually would make sense, but whatever. MMA Twitter's favorite fighter, Jose Aldo, back against Aiemann, another prospect. I don't get why they want Aldo to beat all their prospects, but whatever. Let's talk about it. Should be a fun fight. Let's talk about the legend, MMA Twitter's favorite, Jose Aldo Jr. Jose in the UFC is 14-8 at 38 years old, one of the greatest of all time, as we all know. Not gonna go down his whole UFC career because there's no fucking point. We'd be here till his next fight. Will go down since coming back out of retirement. Obviously, after that Merab fight, he retired. Since coming back, he is 2-0, beating Johnson Martinez and Mario Bautista. Martinez, he looked amazing against. Bautista, he did what he could against a guy who didn't want to fight him. So that's two young guys under his belt, and now he's fighting Aiemann, who's not young, but younger. Aldo still has it. Like, he's washed, but he's still one of the best bantamweights in the world when washed, so I guess it just shows how good he fucking is. Still one of the greatest kickers of all time, still one of the great boxer. Never been really a powerful fighter, but he's not, like, he does have a little power. His grappling is just fine. His takedown defense is legendary. Ask Merab, he couldn't take him down once. He's Jose Aldo, man, one of the greatest of all fucking time. And he could just, again, his matchmaking has made no sense since coming back, but whatever. We get to see Jose Aldo fight in 2025, so hard to be that upset. Always get to see the King of Rio fight. And let's see if the King of Rio transfers over to Canada. Well, I think his first fight ever in Canada. I wouldn't be shocked. And let's see what he can do. 38 years old. He said he's coming back pissed off. So let's see how he does. We all know Jose Aldo. Can't really say much else. It's Jose Aldo. Even at 38 years old, he's still one of the best in the world. At bantamweight, at least. Which just shows how great he really is, no matter how bad MMA Twitter wants to make you think he sucks for no fucking reason. No, I don't get it either. I don't get most of the things on MMA Twitter, and I don't want to. Weirdos. We'll talk about his opponent, Ariel Helwani, or Aiemann Zahabi, same thing. Aiemann in the UFC is 6-2, also really old though, 37 years old, but he seems to be hitting his prime now, which is insane. It's kind of like if he was good before, he just needed to fight more and be more active. And he now is. He's now on a 5-fight winning streak after starting in the UFC 1-2. Yeah, his early, you kind of talk about his UFC run in two ways. His first run where he beat some guy named Vieira and then lost to Ramos and Vince Morales, and then since coming back in 2021, going 5-0, beating Draco Rodriguez, Ricky Torcios, Orichi Lang, Javid Bashra, and Pedro Munoz. This dude has been scary good. That Draco Rodriguez knockout was great. That Ricky Torcios fight was awful. That Orichi Lang knockout was great. The only time he's really ever, and Draco fight, it's the only time he's ever really shown power. Javid Bashra, that was a close fight, but I get why they gave it to him to an extent, and he just beat Pedro Munoz really easily, but as you should in 2024, when Pedro Munoz is very washed, not like he was good anyway. Now, getting his first, real test in the top 15 against Jose Aldo, another old guy, but Aldo's much better than Pedro Munoz. This is the biggest fight of his career on pay-per-view at home against a legend. It's gonna be an interesting one. We'll really see how good Aiemann really is. I don't think he's gonna win this fight, if I'm being honest, but I could see it. The only advantage I really say he has here is maybe power in his hands. So, but he is good. I hate this matchmaking for him because, what does losing this fight do for him? You lost to Aldo, you lost all your momentum. Same thing that happened to Johnson Martinez. So, this matchmaking is kind of bullshit, and I feel bad for Aiemann here. Excuse me, goddamn. I really feel bad for Aiemann here. Because it is just stupid matchmaking. Why Aiemann could be fighting Rob Font or Chito Vera or Henry Cejudo or even like Marcus McGee, but you're giving him the legend on a pay-per-view at home, where he's probably gonna lose. Just fucking stupid matchmaking. But I am happy Aiemann has finally hit his peak and showed the talent he does have, so maybe he will pull off the upset here. Never know. The Bekzat say he won't pull off the upset, as they have Jose Aldo minus 225 to plus 185. Yeah, I think those are very, like, I would have Aldo minus 200 on the dot. I think that would make a lot of sense. Aldo should win this fight. I like Aiemann. I think he's a good fighter. He's looked amazing lately, but I don't see him losing this. I don't see him winning this fight. I mean, Aldo still, again, one of the best bantamweights in the world at 38 years old, 2-0 since coming back out of retirement, beating Martinez and Batista, who you can make case are even better than Aiemann. At that time, at least, we know Johnson Martinez has fallen off a goddamn cliff, but that's a different story. I just struggle to see how Aiemann would win this fight. Do you see him winning a 15-minute striking decision? No. Do you see him grappling and holding Aldo down? No. No one has. Even Merab had to just hold him on the cage. Do you see him knocking Aldo out? Unlikely. I just don't. Do you see him submitting Aldo? No. Like, I just struggle to see Aiemann winning this fight, so sorry, Aiemann, but I'm going Jose Aldo by decision. I just really struggle to see how Aiemann would pull this one off. So, unless it's a close fight and he gets a robbery decision at home, which I think even that's unlikely, Jose Aldo should win a 15-minute decision here. So, I feel bad for it. I feel bad for Aiemann. That his momentum and his winning streak is going to end at home against Aldo. And so I guess it's against Aldo. You get to say you fight Jose Aldo. But outside of that, I feel bad for Aiemann. But always get to see Jose Aldo win a fight, so give me Jose Aldo by decision. If Aiemann pulls off the upset, cool. I don't know how he's gonna do it, but cool. But I don't think he's going to, so give me Jose Aldo, the legend, one of the greatest of all time, by decision to spoil the hometown boy in the final Canadian fight of the night. So yeah, you know, Canadians are not going to be happy going this main and co-main event, so and well, I guess Jose Aldo winning is not the worst thing in the world. So maybe they won't be that upset, but whatever. Jose Aldo by decision. After that, we get to our first title fight of the night as we head to our co-main event of the evening in a very busy weight class on this card. And our co-main event of the evening, we have the women's flyweight title on the line after two big fights already happened in this division earlier on the card. We have in our co-main event finally happening, long overdue. The fight should already happen, to be honest, as we have for the undisputed UFC Women's Flyweight Championship of the World, Valentina Bullet Shevchenko versus Manon the Beast Fiero, however you say your last name. No one knows really how to say it, do we? This fight finally happening after it probably should have already happened. I don't know why it took Val 7 months to get this fight booked, but you know, whatever. Manon finally happening. Long overdue. Manon finally fighting again after beating Ern last year, or blocking herself in for a title shot. And she did the smart thing and just sat around and waited. And now we get to see her finally fight for the belt. Very old fight here, 37-35. This should be good. This should be very intriguing. I'm very intrigued in this fight. Probably the worst of the three female fights on the card, but I think it's still a good one. Let's see what happens, man. Let's see if Val can knock off the prospect, or does Manon finally win the belt? Let's talk about it. We'll talk about the champ first, Valentina in the UFC 13-3-1. We all know that. 37 years old. She's definitely washed. She's definitely she's not looked good in a while. I think her last good performance was Lauren Murphy, if I'm being honest. And then it's Lauren Murphy, so if you think about it, it's kind of hard to have a bad performance against her. Because ever since that Murphy fight, she lost to Talia Santos, she lost to Alexa Grasso, she had that draw where I think she lost to Alexa Grasso, and then she cuddled Alexa Grasso and looked super ass in that fight, so she's not really looked good in a while. So her last impressive performance was probably maybe Andrade, if you want to even go back as far as like Joanna. Like, I think her title run is super overrated because her best wins are a strawweight and Liz Carmouche and Jessica Andrade, a super atomweight, if we're being honest. So take that as you will. But I guess that was just the state of flyweight at the time was really ass when Lauren Murphy, Jennifer Maia, and Jessica Ai were your best opponents. Were your number one contenders, I should say. I think Val's title run is overrated, and I'll even go as far as say I think Valentina's overrated. Her striking is good. Her kicks are good. I think her ground game sucks. Offensively, it's pretty terrible. Defensively, it's awful. Offensively, I don't think it's great. She's getting old. Eventually, she's gonna just fall off as a fighter. She is 37, so we already saw cracks in her armor against Alexa and Talia, who again she lost to. So take that as you will. I just think she's overrated. She's good. I'm not gonna say she's a bad fighter. She's a really damn good fighter. Never gonna say that. But Nunes was always better than her. I think Whaley's way better, and she's probably, if she wins this fight, she's going to fight Whaley. Like who else? I think Prime Joanne was better as a fighter, at least in their weight class. I think Prime Joanna's title run was better. She beat better competition. Cyborg's better, no question about it. Like, Val's good, Hall of Famer, but built on some. I don't know, cause I think call her DJ, but DJ's actually good. Like, she's amazing. Val's a fine fighter, but I think she has a very padded record to an extent. Again, Jessica Ai, Jennifer Maia, Katlyn Chookagian, Lauren Murphy were some of her title wins. Come on, so she's good. She was good. I think she's washed now, but I don't know. I definitely think she's kind of overhyped to an extent, if you ask me. So, but maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. Maybe she'll prove me wrong here because that Grasso fight was really, really fucking unimpressive. Now to talk about her opponent, Manon, again, finally getting her title shot after waiting over a year for it. 35 years old, 12-1, 7-0 in the UFC, been amazing in the UFC. Her wins, her wins and her undefeated record in the UFC so far, Victoria Leonardo, Tabitha Ricci, that aged weirdly, Mayra Bueno Silva, Jennifer Maia, Katlyn Chookagian, Rose Namajunas, and Erin Blanchfield. Yeah, like, she's one of the few smart fighters who said that, yeah, I earned my title shot. I'm not going to take another fight. No matter how long Val tries to make her fucking wait, she sat on her morals and waited for a title shot. Now she's finally getting it after over a year. She finally gets to fight again. Or almost a year. She's good. She's looked pretty flawless in the UFC. Like, I'm struggling to think of a time she looked bad in the UFC. To be honest, the only bad moment I can think of when she shot a takedown on Erin in their fight and almost got guillotined. But that was just a bad fight IQ move. Outside of that, has she looked bad? Dominated Leonardo, dominated Ricci, easily beat Bueno and Maia, easily beat Chookagian, dominated Rose, exposed Erin Blanchfield. Kind of the same thing I said from Talia Silva. She's just looked flawless. Her striking's really good, her kicks are decent, her ground game, her takedown defense at least is good. If she was able to stop Erin from taking her down, I don't think Valentina's going to be much of a problem for her. In the grappling department, I mean, not as a fight overall. Because again, if Erin, the best wrestler in that division, can take Manon down, what is Val gonna do? Who's a shitty grappler? Again, the only I really struggle to find anything really bad to say about Manon going into this fight outside of being out for a long time. It was warranted, and being 35 years old. What bad could you really say about her? She's looked flawless in the UFC, 7 wins on her belt against legit competition. Getting Erin Blanchfield, like, her worst win is her debut. Like, outside that, Erin, great win at that time. Rose's fucking flyweight debut, so we didn't know how shit she was yet. Chookagian, okay, that's pretty bad. Mayra, that's pretty bad. Ricci's a good one. Ricci's probably her third best win, to be honest. So, Well, we'll see if Manon's legit, though. This is her time to shine. Probably her only chance at a title again, being 35 years old, so let's see if she can win that belt and prove she's legit. No rematch will be needed here, more than likely. The winner of this will probably fight Whaley, so, and I think these two are fucked in that debate. No matter who. The UFC wants Val to win, we all know that, because Val Whaley is a ginormous fight. If Manon wins, I feel bad for Manon, because she's they're either gonna make her do a pointless rematch or feed her to Whaley. So, but that's for the recap. For right now, I can't really say anything bad about Manon. She's looked great in the UFC, just like I said with Natália Silva, pretty much flawless. Barely lost a round. And I only know if Manon has lost a round in the UFC, maybe one to Rose. But outside of that, I don't remember her losing a round. Now talk about the betting odds for his fight. Valentina minus 155 to plus 130. I thought people say Valentina was the underdog. She was, maybe at the opening, but now she's definitely not. She's definitely a little bit of a favorite, which I'm not shocked by. But easily the smallest Val has been as a favorite and as the champion in a long time, since maybe Joanna. Well, she wasn't champion when she fought Joanna, so maybe ever. She was always like minus 800 in her title fights. So they're putting respect on Manon, man, and they notice Val is not what Val was before. I think the betting odds should probably be a little even. You probably could have it a pick'em, in my opinion. And maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'll look wrong after that, but I think you can almost make them a pick'em, like maybe Val minus 125 bare minimum. Either way, I'm going Manon. I think it's her time. I think Val has looked not great in the last couple of years. Again, Talia Santos beat her. Let's just be fucking blunt about it. Call a spade a spade. Fucking Grasso beat her twice, if I'm being honest. She's not been the same. And Manon, it's a year away, which sucks, but she waited for her title shot. She had a year to train for Valentina. Valentina's had 7 months. Take that as you will. Manon has looked better in the UFC lately, in her 7 fights than Val has looked lately. Give me Manon. I think on the feet's gonna be a tight fight. I think Manon's a little bigger. I think Manon's hands are a little. I think her striking might be a little better, but I think Val probably has the better kicks. I think this fight's gonna come if Manon can stop the takedowns of Val, which I think she will. Again, she stopped Ern's takedowns. I don't know why she wouldn't be able to stop Valentina's. And then maybe Manon even offensively grapples a little bit. I doubt it. I think it'd be kind of fucking stupid, but we know Val has awful defensive grappling, so we'll see. It's very possible. Hell, she shot a takedown on Ern. You better shoot a takedown on Val, you fuck. So, I don't know. This fight's gonna be interesting. It's gonna go 25 minutes for sure. I don't even know where the finish would come in this fight. Maybe a head kick by either one of them, but I doubt it. I think we're probably going to go 25 minutes and probably going to be a close fight. I think Ern wins, or Manon wins. I'm taking Manon to win this one. I think she's better in 2025. She's looked better lately. And give me Manon by decision. I think she takes that belt and then gets fed to Whaley, but that's for a different story. Give me Manon by decision. I think Val's time at the top is over. If she loses this, and it's like clearly you can't give her a rematch. You just gave her a rematch against Grasso twice. You can't give her another rematch, especially Whaley waiting in the wings. Say that 5 times fast. Whoever, like, if it's a split decision, close fight, yeah, you can give Val a rematch. But let's be honest, it's if Manon wins, clearly you can't give her a rematch. So. But whatever, we'll see what happens. And if Val wins, there's no debate. She fights Whaley, so we're gonna see what happens. I'm excited, and let's see what happens here. I'm going in new. I think Val's past her prime. I think it's time for her reign to end. So give me Manon by decision, and I would not be shocked if Val gets dominated badly and like clearly loses. I would not be shocked if she retired. So I don't think she will, but I would not be shocked. So give me Manon by decision. And new, long overdue. Let's see if she's legit. Only one way to find out. Does Val still have it, or is Manon legit? Let's find out. I'm going and new. Speaking of brand new, let's get to our main event of the evening. Not gonna waste a lot of time here, because who wants to look at this ugly piece of shit for more than 5 seconds? As in our main event evening of UFC 315, our final pay-per-view, or only pay-per-view of May 2025 in Quebec, Canada, we will end the night with the welterweight title on the line, the division formerly owned by the GOAT, the Canadian GOAT, GSP. We end the pay-per-view UFC 315 with a welterweight title fight between whatever his name is versus Jack Della Maddalena. Don't got a lot to say here. Jack Della by knockout in the first. If anything else happens, I will be turning off the fight pretty quickly, so yeah. Not much to say. Jack Della's gonna knock out this whatever his fucking name is pretty easily, win the belt, and yeah, obviously Shavkat's injured, the winner's gonna fight Shavkat, and yeah, not really much else to say. Jack Della, knockout in the first over whatever his name is, and he's gonna be the first respectable UFC welterweight champion since like Robbie Lawler, so, and new, quick and easy, and yeah, over whatever his fucking name is, so. Quick, easy win for JDM, knockout in the first, boom, bada bang, and just like that, we end the card with a quick, boom, 1 hour and 14 minutes in. That's finally the card. To go over my picks one last time, because I know it's been a while, you probably forgot them, I can't blame you. Bekzat, Almakhan, however you say it, by decision. Daniel Santos, by decision. Marc-André Barriault, by decision. Navajo Stirling by knockout in the first. Modestas Bukauskas by decision. Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision. Charles Radtke by decision. Benoit Saint-Denis by my lock of the night by decision. I mean, knockout in the first. Come on, brain. I'm fucking talking for an hour and a half. Your brain, or an hour and 40 minutes, your brain starts to goddamn melt. Natália Silva by decision. José Aldo by decision. Manon by decision, and Jack Della Maddalena by knockout in the first. 2 and news to end a pretty good card. Not amazing, but I think it's good. I think it gets a lot of hate for no reason, so boom, that's the card. Again, I think it has got a lot of hate for no reason. Prelims are pretty decent. One bad fight on them, even that one could be decent. Main card starts and ends badly, but middle's pretty good. I can't really complain much. I enjoy the card. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm really excited for it. 2 title fights, José Aldo, Alexa Grasso, Jasmine, Navajo. A lot of fun fights on it. I'm excited. I know a lot of decisions, but kind of like I said last week, how many finishes do you really see? Probably not. Doubtful. Maybe. Good possibility. Doubtful. Maybe. Very doubtful. No chance. Unlikely. And yeah, obviously JDM's gonna get a knockout. So it might be a long card, but I think it should be a fun one. So I'm excited. It should be a fun one. So can't really say much else. Next time you hear me talk about this card is Sunday, sometime on Sunday, recapping it. And hopefully I'm talking about 2 new champions and a bunch of other really good fights, but we'll have to wait and see. So, unless I'm forgetting to say something, which I don't believe I am, those are my picks. Obviously, I don't think I have any shocker picks. Like, I'm so shocked Benoit as my lock. Like, he's gonna crush that fucking nobody in seconds. But outside of that, like, I don't really know what pick would really be shocking, so I probably have a pick sheet pretty close. Like, maybe Radtke would be the only surprising pick. Outside of that, I think most of my picks probably match up with yours, so we're all going down together, I guess. With that being said, sorry for jinxing all your picks, and as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. 100 subs goal by the end of 2025. And unless I'm going to say something, which I don't believe I am, can we end this breakdown finally? My voice needs it. Yeah, I think we're done. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed. Ready for pay-per-view weekend. Let's Backlash as well. Can't wait for that. Let's get to pay-per-view weekend. See y'all on Sunday. Because as always, RX. Out. Good vibes. Only. And always. Eh? Canada, eh?